Yes, thank you. Good evening and welcome to the Conservation Commission meeting of June 4th, 2025. June. Okay, here we go. The Wareham Conservation Commission will hold a meeting under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the General Laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, the Town of Wareham Wetlands Protection Bylaw, Division 6, and any other applicable laws. All hearings of the Wareham Conservation Commission are held simultaneously under the authorities of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act and the Town of Wareham Wetlands Protection Bylaw, Division 6. Although a single decision of the commission is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. All matters listed may involve a decision and possible vote. All right, the meeting's open. Roll call, please, starting with Jessica.
Jessica Park.
Paula Jean O'Neill.
Autumn Wood.
Sandy Slavin.
Michael Mercier.
Kwame Body.
I declare we have a quorum. Before we start the public hearings, if there's anybody here for Camp Street, they have requested a continuance, so we will not be taking any discussion on them tonight. We will open and continue. We have a request for continuance on Nelson Street. Anybody here? We will be continuing that. And is there anything else that's being continued?
2731 Cranberry Highway, because it doesn't have a DEP file number.
But we'll
open that.
Yeah, all right. In case you wanted to be here and discuss those projects. It's with sadness that Autumn Wood has decided to step down to follow her professional career closer than what she can do here. And I thank her for her time, and allow me to read a note she was sent, and I think this represents my feeling and everybody else on this commission. Thank you for letting us know of your decision to resign for the Wareham Conservation Commission. While I am saddened to see you step down, I understand and respect the demands of your professional career. Your service over the past few years has been invaluable. Your thoughtful insights, cooperative spirit, and dedication to conserving Wareham's natural resources have left a lasting mark on our work. I want to express our deepest appreciation for the time and efforts you devoted to the Commission. Your willingness to support Sandy Slavin and our staff and to share your knowledge make a real difference in how we approach each project. You help strengthen relationships between the Commission and our community, and your absence will certainly be felt. Thank you once again for your dedication of service. I wish you success in your career and hope you will continue and stay connected to Wareham conservation efforts in the future. And I want to add, anytime you want to come back, we will have you back on the board. Thank you. Okay. We're on now. You don't have, as clerk, please continue.
Notice of public hearing. Pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Wareham Wetland Protective Bylaw, Division 6, a public hearing will be held in Room 520, Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass., on Wednesday, June 4th, 2025, at 6 p.m. On the request for determination of applicability for David Pierre, 739 State Road, Plymouth, Massachusetts, 02360. Framing new addition according to design plans. Map 57, Lot 145, 5 Dennis Lane, Wareham, Massachusetts. I motion to open the hearing.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstained. We are 600. Is there anybody here to represent this project? Please come forward. And have a seat in front of us, in front of a microphone. And now please identify yourself.
David P. I'm the contractor of PA Construction.
David, right?
Yes.
Thank you. And with you?
My client.
I'm Michael Wiggins, and this is my son, Michael Wiggins.
Okay. All right, David, talk to us.
We're trying to do addition. The back of the house, we're tearing down the existing sunroom and going up 2 levels. I'm doing it for his mother, which his mother's very sick, so he's trying to move back home and live there to take care of her. We are very straightforward. Do you guys have the plans in front of you? Yeah.
Some of us do, yeah.
Yeah, so we're just doing a 2 stories, living area, kitchen, 2 bedrooms, bathroom, and a laundry area. So you could pretty much be home with her mother until her end days. So,
Okay,
we had changed the plans multiple times to meet the requirements that we're going up a couple 3 feet so we can meet the requirements of the flood zone, because we know we are in that area. So we are using flood vents, so if something does happen, the water could pass through as well too. But we've been working on this for the last couple of years, and we're trying to move forward with this project, and they've been very patient with our business as well too. So we're just here to pretty much move forward with this addition.
okay.
Yes.
Any other comments? I'll ask my questions.
I really don't have any comments other than what he said. My son and I are just trying to move down there to help my mother out. This is
Yeah.
very difficult where I am.
Yeah.
Because we're in Taunton, and I'm down here 4 or 5 times a week just to try to help her out.
Understand.
Yeah.
Understand. Okay, Kwame,
No questions. Good luck.
Michael,
No questions, thank you,
I
Madam Chair.
appreciate that.
Autumn,
No questions, thank you.
Paula Jean.
No questions. I did go there and look at the property and speak to the woman who lives there or cares for your mom. But there were no stakes or anything. I wasn't really clear on what was going on, but I think I'm looking at it again now.
I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Jessica?
No questions.
Now, again, I went out there, I didn't see any stakes. Is it to be within what you have for the fence for the dog?
Yes, yes.
So that's virtually the size, a part of that will be the patio, would be where you put a foundation and raise above it.
Yes, we're coming out, I believe it's 12 to 16 feet, then we're going out 30 feet in length, yes.
Okay.
Based off what the site plans.
Yeah, I did see a proposed foundation.
Yeah, so we're keeping it within that range right there as well.
Christine, any comments?
No, I didn't have any.
Is there anybody online or in the audience would like to comment on this project? Anybody, any other discussion in the commission before we close the hearing?
None.
I motion to close the hearing.
Second?
I have a motion to close the hearing and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, the hearing is closed. Christine, your recommendation?
-2, -6.
So moved.
That's a motion.
Second.
And a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 600. You have it. You've been approved. Don't start any work until you get the paperwork from our conservation agent, Christine, but you're good to go.
We appreciate you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Good
very
luck
much.
with your mother.
Thank you. All right, let's go.
Next, please.
On the request for determination of applicability for Gerald Silva, 36 Jefferson Shores Road, Buzzards Bay, Massachusetts, 02532. Install a pre-made shed. Map 6, Lot 70B, 36 Jefferson Shores Road, Buzzards Bay, Massachusetts. I motion to open the hearing.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, the hearing is open. Is there anybody here representing this project? Is there anybody online?
I think somebody
I
is.
guess, a comment, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Please identify yourself.
I'm Gerald Silva.
Joanne Silva. Okay, Gerald, talk to us about the project, please.
We want to install a 10 by 12 pre-made shed on our property, exactly as indicated.
It says a pre-made, so it'll just be delivered and put on the
Correct.
pile of stone you have back there.
That is correct.
Okay. All right, questions? I'll start with Kwame.
I have no questions, thanks.
Please, conversations can be heard up here. We're hearing you, thank you. Kwame, nothing?
No questions, thank you.
Michael?
Maybe just one little question here. Is the runoff going to impact the the vegetation between your house and the neighbor's house? Because that might go, because that vegetation might go into the water eventually. That's all.
I didn't understand the
It's-
question. I
How's the
can't hear you.
runoff, how's the runoff on the shed? Is that going to impact, say, the vegetation between your property and your neighbor's property? Because there looks like to be some wild
The
vegetation
water, you mean?
when it rains.
The
Yeah.
runoff from the shed, will it be contained within the stone bed?
Oh, yes.
Does that help you?
Yeah, that's probably
Yeah.
a better way to put it then. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right. Autumn,
No questions, thank you.
Paula Jean.
No, I was just going to ask about erosion as well, because there is some in that area, because it's pretty steep downhill to the street and to the water. But if you're going to have crushed stone there, that's fine.
Yeah, I put in a lot of stone.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
Jessica,
have cement blocks holding the stone
Don't
so
up.
it won't run into the neighbor's yard.
No,
Jessica,
no questions.
how long ago did you put the crushed stone down?
I don't know, maybe a month, 2 months.
Anticipating the shed?
What's that?
Anticipating putting the shed there?
Yeah.
So you've started the construction?
Be able to see
Yeah.
the area where it was going to be installed,
Okay,
yes.
so you started the work on the shed by putting in the foundation of the stone, okay. Christine, comments?
I was out at this property and I was speaking with the owner and your son, I believe.
Xerxes? Yeah.
Yeah. And I had already discussed anything that I had there, including the starting work without the permit. So I don't have any other questions or comments.
Would the recommendation be a $200 fine for starting the work without the permit? Okay. Anybody online or in the audience would like to speak to this project? I'm seeing none. Any other questions on the commission before we close the hearing?
No.
I motion to close the hearing.
I have a
Second.
motion, and I have a second to close the hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstained, 600. The hearing is closed. Christine, your recommendation.
-3, -6 with the $200 fine for starting the work without the permit.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion. I heard a motion and a second for -6 and a $200 fine for starting the work early. And show the vote on that. What's the vote? I heard a motion. I heard a second. So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 600. It's done. Please see our conservation agent, Christine, before you start the work. All right?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
You're
you.
done. You got it. Just before you bring the shed in, see Christine for your paperwork, okay?
Oh, okay, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Next one, please. Thank you.
On the request for determination of applicability for Maggior Construction, 11 Farm Hills Lane, Hingham, Mass. 02043. The work consists of construction of an addition over an existing deck and a new deck. Map 2, Lot 168B, 25 North Water Street, Wareham, Massachusetts. I motion to open the hearing.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to open the hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 600. The hearing is opening. And please identify yourself to represent this project.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, Bob Rogers, GAF Engineering, on behalf of the applicant. So I also was not able last week to stake the two corners of the new deck, so I did bring a couple of pictures if anyone would like to see. The project is entirely on the back of the existing house. The addition is on top of a foundation that currently has a deck, and then the new deck, you know, is just right behind the house, as you can see on the plan. So we have flood zone and buffer zone to the East River. The East River is not a coastal river it's not on the DEP list for coastal rivers, so we don't have riverfront, but we have buffer zone to the river and the beach, and we have flood zone. Normally, we would be looking for an opportunity to do some roof infiltration, but this project number one, it does not create any new impervious. There's no additional impervious. The new deck, which is larger, is going to be raised above the ground on posts and sonotubes. There's also a gas line on the north side of the house and a sewer line on the south side of the house. So I didn't see any good opportunity for roof infiltration. The soils are good on the lot. The lot is very flat. So there's not going to be any change in runoff to any of the, and there's no proposed grading. So there's no change to the neighbors. There's no change in the water that would eventually end up in North Water Street. And so we would, if anyone would like to see the pictures of the back.
Bob, is it staked now? It is staked now?
No, it is not staked. The only thing that we would have been able to stake would be the two corners of the deck. That's.
You're expanding the deck. Yes, you are building a bigger deck.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, which is, if I had had a chance last week, that was the only thing that I would have staked out. Like I say, if you don't mind, I'll just show you these pictures.
Now, my question is, I went to 25 North Water Street, and on this building, there was a number 25 painted over. I don't need it, thank you. Painted over.
Okay.
So this building is labeled as number 27 over the door. Am I the only one that was confused about what 25 is? But then I went to the assessor's database, and I came up with this picture.
Right, so that is an issue out there. I've spoken with the owner about it. To me, it's a problem for 911. We did a job 20 some odd years ago, and the address was 27 at that time. I don't know what caused it to change, but the house with number 25 on it is 23, and this house is 25, and so I stressed to the owner that they should straighten it out, mostly because of a 911
And
issue.
please continue, because we now have a town bylaw that the numbers on the houses must be complete and accurate. So there could very well be an issue with violating the bylaws with the wrong address on the house. But you'll speak to him, because if I'm an emergency and I'm going to 25, I'm going to the little cottage with number 25 on it. They should at least remove the 25 from the
Yes,
building.
I think-
But this is, okay. We are going to ask questions. I'm going to start with Kwame.
No questions, Bob, thank you.
Michael,
Just seems to be a very tight region there, down there. Where's the construction equipment going to be stored during this process?
Well, so he's got the double lot, so to speak, so there's plenty of room in the backyard on, an access from Sandalwood Lane.
All right.
So,
Because, and I was a little confused as well with that whole number
there's a chain link
and
fence
the
there,
stakes there, so that's why I may have been a little tad confused there, but, okay, thanks for at least addressing that with the stakes. Madam Chair?
Autumn,
No questions, thank you.
Paula Jean,
No questions, thank you.
Jessica,
No questions, thank you.
Christine, any comments?
I also went to 25. I don't think I have any comments, though.
That was very, very confused. Why, there's no room behind 25 to put anything, so I was just, how in the world are they fitting that in? Okay, anybody in the audience or online that would like to comment on this project? I am disappointed it wasn't staked.
I can only apologize and bring pictures.
And bring pictures. All right. No other comments? Okay.
I motion to close the hearing.
Second.
I have a motion to close the hearing in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstains. We're closed the hearing. Christine, your recommendation.
A -2, -6.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion for a -2 and a -6 in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 600. You have it. See Christine before you start your work.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, please.
On the request for determination of applicability for William McLean, 228 Lumber Street, Hopkinton, Mass. 01748. A 12-foot by 22-foot deck attached to the rear of home. Map 18, Lot 1. 008B, 98 Great Neck Road, Wareham, Massachusetts. I motion to open the hearing.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained. The hearing is open. Please, if anybody here representing this full project, please come forward and identify yourself.
William McLean.
Okay, talk to us about what you like to do, William.
The house originally had where I want to put the deck, had a summer kitchen that was severely damaged by a fallen tree when I purchased the house. That was demolished. So what I'd like to do is just put a deck there, not a living quarters, just a deck, in the same position as the old summer kitchen.
Okay. Questions? Kwame?
No questions, thank you.
Michael?
No questions here, thank you, ma'am.
Autumn?
No questions, thank you.
Paula Jean?
No questions. Thanks.
Jessica?
No questions.
Thank you for staking. It will abut against your steps on the other side?
Yes,
It will-
the steps,
At that level?
yes, it's going to be no railing. It's less than 30 inches from the ground.
Okay. And I'd like your, what is it, lavender garden, I like the
Oh, did you
lavender
see?
garden,
Did you?
yes, I noticed that, so thank you. Christine, any comments?
No, I mean, we already spoke about this extensively at your property. The only thing I would say is, since you're so close to the water, erosion controls would be a good idea to have. Just,
Just put in a wattle or something like that to prevent any type of disturbed soil from washing into the wetlands.
Okay,
But
like,
you can see Christine, so.
okay.
And any comments on anybody in the audience or online? I'm seeing none.
I motion to close the hearing.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to close the hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained. The hearing is closed. Christine, your recommendation.
-3, -6 with the erosion controls just at the limit of work.
So moved.
Second.
I have that motion, and I hear a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. It's done. You is permitted. Please see Christine for your paperwork before you start the work, okay?
Thank you. Yep.
Thank you.
Point of clarification,
Yes,
we will not be discussing 29 Camp, 48 North Boulevard, and 29...
that is correct. We will open the hearing, but we will not take any comments, and I made that announcement at the beginning of the meeting. So if you're here,
Because of North Boulevard part.
oh, well, I just said camp, yes, so we will be taking no hearing on it at all. We will be continuing it. You can stay until you hear the date we're going to continue to, but, okay.
Will that be published?
It will be, no, it will not be put back in the paper. It our continuation happens here in this meeting, so we will say what date it's going to be continued to.
Thank you for the clarification.
Okay, next, please.
On the request for determination of applicability for John Acker, 356 Village Street, Medway, Mass. 02053. Demolition of the old train depot, one structure/building only. Map 14, Lot 1000, 447 Onset Ave, Wareham, Mass. I motion to open the hearing.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Is there anybody here representing this project? Anybody online? Is there anybody online? Oh. All right.
Wait.
This is for the demolition of the old train depot.
Yes.
How are you today?
Please identify yourselves.
Robert Spagnuolo.
Joe Spinola.
Can you spell your last name for me?
Spagnuolo.
And you're representing John Acker at this project?
Yes.
All right, talk to us about it, other than you're taking the building down.
Take down the old depot.
Yeah, it's pretty well contaminated, and it's falling down, and
it's in, the Historical Society looked over, they agreed with us about taking it down because it's beyond repair, actually.
And I'm going to correct Historic Commission, being the Town of Wareham Historical Commission, not the Historical Society.
I mean, yeah.
Yes,
right.
I just wanted to be clarified that the
okay.
society had nothing to do with that decision. It was the commission's responsibility. Okay, yes, I was surprised it keeps standing.
Yeah, it is. And we're going to do it according to the way it's supposed to be taken down, and we're going to try to reserve some of it because it's historic, So we're going to, it's up to the architect when he finishes. He might leave a portion of it up, but we haven't determined that yet because of, the design of the new, whatever's going to go back up.
Okay.
So,
Yes, every time there's a windstorm, I'm surprised it's still standing. Kwame, questions?
Hi, Joe. Are you using erosion controls around there when you're knocking it down? Erosion controls, like barriers?
Yeah, it's already.
It's already, the silk fence is already up and all that?
Yeah, it's already there.
Okay, I didn't get in the back there to see, but, thank you.
You're welcome.
Michael?
Okay, just one question here. During the construction process, where is the materials going to be taken to once it's torn down?
Well, we're going to take it to Connecticut, but we might decide to take it to Bourne Dump. They might take it in Bourne. It's all wood, so we might just haul it all to Bourne Dump.
So it's going to be taken to a appropriate facility somewhere else and not
It's all,
dumped
it's a
somewhere in the
wood
region?
structure, so they accept that.
All right, okay, thank you. Madam Chair?
Thank you. Disposal site, did you want to write it down? Autumn?
Just looking at what was submitted for the RDA, it looks like this has the potential to be a positive determination and will go to a notice of intent to further discuss.
Christine?
Because of the wetland on the opposite side.
Okay, thank you, no questions.
Okay, Paula Jean?
Yeah, I must have missed something. You said the erosion controls are already up around the exterior, because I spent quite a bit of time, it's really an interesting spot. I walked all around there, and I didn't see any of that.
They're up
No,
against,
it's-
they're up against the wetland, way away from...
Way away on the other side of the, not the track side, but the other side?
Yeah, it's the area that had
Okay.
been cleared where the trucks were and stuff, there's
Right,
erosion all the
right.
way around that
Okay,
wetland.
Okay, I didn't see it near the building.
It wasn't near the building, it was
Good,
on the
okay,
site.
because I did walk out that far, and then I also did notice there's so much debris, and with all the rocks, the riprap and all the rocks that are in there, and I always like to ask if the applicant is planning on cleaning up all the trash and debris prior to doing the project.
Well, no, it's cleaned up,
It's all going to be,
all redone over,
And it's probably
parking
going to
lot.
need to be picked up by hand. I mean, all the way into the woods is stuff thrown,
that whole section
trash.
Yeah.
ought to be hot top,
They're going to put it, well, not
not all of it.
not all of it, what's there, it's going to be hard topped again, and all up to the
So we will
barrier.
have, you will
We're going
have...
to clean
ano-
it anyway.
You
It's
will-
all going to be cleaned and redone.
Yeah,
You will
right
have
into
another...
the woods
Yeah,
and
you will
stuff.
have another project for that. That's not part of
Right,
what we're
that's not-
demoing tonight, yeah.
There's just so much that's thrown into the woods and all around there to the tracks on the one side, but into the wet side. And I'm sure, it happens over time, but it would be good to, I would like to see that all cleaned up first, is the first stage of your project. To make
Jess-
sure it gets done.
Jessica?
It's going to be all new.
What's going there?
What's going there? Right at the moment, it's going to be a gas station with a convenience store. And where the building we're taking down, it's going to be a railroad cafe. Supposedly, that's what the architect's trying to design. So,
So will you use the existing gas tanks below the
well,
underground gas tanks?
the awning's coming down because it's not up to code.
Yep.
So that has to all come down, and the existing, where the pumps are, will go to the same spot, in the same area, you know what I mean? So,
But there are tanks below, existing tanks below ground?
yeah. They were in operation until a truck hit the awning, and then it had to shut it down because it was dangerous. So there was, say, maybe, I don't know, 7, 8 months ago or longer. It was in operation, they were pumping gas. But until that accident happened, then the building department shut it down because it was dangerous.
So will the existing tanks come out and new ones go
No, the
in?
existing tanks would stay.
Okay.
They're not old, yeah, they're not.
They're not
That
old.
No, they all been checked and
Okay.
by the state and all that. Everything's been checked by the state as far as the gas goes.
The pumps, though.
New pumps and all that. They have to all install everything up to code, basically, and it has to be state approved.
Okay.
So I expect that would be coming before us as a full project. And I remember having you come before Community Preservation looking for funds to try to save this building. And I remember your plans for a cafe, et cetera, and a convenience store for the neighborhood. Thank you. Christine, your recommendation?
That convenience store, yeah. That whole block.
Yep.
I just have one. I was not able to see the erosion controls out there. I think I went out at a time where they weren't up. They're around both of the wetlands. The one that's on the right side when you're looking at it,
Yeah.
and the one behind it. Full. Okay. That was just what I needed to know.
Okay, is there anybody online or in the audience would like to comment on this project? Please come forward and identify yourself.
William Bogan, 17 Maple Street, Wareham. Just a question about one of the words he used that always concerns me was contaminant. And I don't know what that means, what kind of contaminants are associated with the building.
Okay.
I believe that the ground, from what I get from you, is squared away by the state. But is there asbestos or any other type materials
we had
that
that all
could go
inspected.
airborne or?
Through me, please.
Been all inspected,
All gone.
all gone.
So you're asking, has the site been cleared of contamination or inspected so that when it's disposed of, it's not going to put something bad into our landfills
Either the landfills or the air
as it is knocked
being
down?
demolished.
And your response, it's clear?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Are you comfortable with that?
I have the paperwork.
If you all are comfortable with it, I'm comfortable with it.
Thank you very much for your question and comments. Anybody else?
Can we clarify just, I didn't hear that that's what you guys were saying exactly, is that there's no contamination. You said contaminated, but you said that the tanks were in good shape, but
Well,
not
we're not
necessarily.
talking tanks, we're talking about the building, and only the building.
Right, but I mean, he asked a question of, is there any contamination, and he just said no, but we don't know that there was no contamination.
Well, I think the question was for
Okay.
the building itself, and the building was
They
cleared.
had tiles,
Yes.
asbestos tiles, we had them out.
They came in and cleaned anything that was contaminated out of that building.
So do you have a clean 21E?
We have the certificate.
Yeah. It's all been handed to the building department. They have all that records of everything that we had to do before he might have it on his phone.
Okay.
We had to do prior, shutting electric down, asbestos, contamination, what else we did? The sewer, water, all that was taken care of. You have to do that
Pumps, we should have taken everything.
Okay.
prior to anything, so.
Any other question on commissions? You good? Any other questions?
So but just to clarify, you did a 21E and it was clean?
Yeah, the 21E was done, yes.
Phase 1 and Phase 2, or just Phase 1?
I'm not sure of that, but the new owner
Yep,
that just bought it, he had it done, and
okay.
probably a month and a half ago, and that passed.
Bought the property.
He wouldn't have bought the property if it wouldn't pass the 21E. So,
Okay,
All set?
yep.
All right, no other comments?
I motion to close the hearing.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. To close the hearing, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstained, the hearing is closed. Christine, your recommendation?
It was a -3, -6 with those erosion controls to be around the limit of the wetlands so that there's nothing getting into them.
So a -3 and a -6 and an inspection of the existing erosion control around the full property.
Yes, before before the demolition starts, yeah.
Okay. You want to come look at the erosion control? Yeah, that's been up, last year we put it.
Yeah, it's
even a
hard to,
year,
it's
but-
hard to see.
Because everything's overgrown a little bit.
Yeah,
right
so,
now, the
It's been there
leaves.
for a while,
so it might need to be refreshed.
yes. So
Well,
that,
we'll freshen it up for you if that's the case.
Yeah.
Christine will come out and take a look at what needs to be done, and she'll work with you to refresh the erosion
I'll make
control.
sure that even if we gotta, trim everything, all the brush, it's got overgrown a little bit because of the spring.
Yeah.
Whole department's got everything.
Okay,
This is the last thing we had to do.
we had closed the hearing. The motion was -3 and a -6 with a with review of the erosion control and a refreshing as needed.
So moved.
That's the motion.
Second?
And I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstain. You got the work with Christine before you start the demo, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, let's go.
Next one, please.
On the request for notice of intent for Kyle Cabral, P.O. Box 50357, New Bedford, Massachusetts 02119, construction of a two-family dwelling with decks, driveways, and associated utilities within a 100-foot buffer to a wetland, as well as within a mapped FEMA coastal AE flood zone. Map 1, Lot 392 and 393, 29 Camp Street and 48 North Boulevard, Wareham, Massachusetts. I motion to open the hearing.
I have a motion, and I heard a second. All in favor? Aye, opposed, abstain. The hearing is open. Now, Christine, you had a recommendation. They want a continuance?
Yes, they wanted a continuance to June 18th.
June 18th.
So moved.
I have a motion to continue until June 18th.
Second?
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain. We're continued until June 18th. Next one, please.
On the request for notice of intent for Kevin Welch, 651 Orchard Street, New Bedford, Massachusetts 02571. The applicant is proposing to raise the house and construct two 120-foot long by 60-foot wide industrial buildings to be used by tradesmen for storage of materials and tools and as a base from which to conduct their local commercial businesses with utilities. The buildings will be accessed through a driveway and supported by a water service connection, stormwater management system, and an on-site Title V compliant septic system. The project includes the construction of a portion of a access driveway within the riverfront area, outer riparian zone 100 to 200 feet to the river, buffer zone to the bordering vegetated wetland, and land subject to flooding. No work is proposed within the NHESP estimated and priority habitat area. The limit of work is 86 feet from the BVW and 167.7 feet from the river at its closest point. Map 131, Lot 1003, 2731 Cranberry Highway, Wareham, Massachusetts. I motion to open the hearing.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to open the hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain. The hearing is open, 600. Is this a continuance? Did they have a date?
No, so this just has no DEP file
Okay.
number, but
Is there
nobody
anybody
requested.
here representing the project? Please come forward. Anybody here? Is anybody online representing the project? No. So there's nobody here representing the project, so I would recommend a continuance until 6/18.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion, and I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstains. So my note is no show. Okay. Next one, please.
We're on to continued hearings.
We're on to continue hearings. We had a continued hearing for 9 15th Street They had indicated that they didn't want to do it, but we're waiting for written documents on it.
Yeah, that's on me. I've been busy with so much. I
So
know.
we'll continue it, and, because we would want a written, an indication that they're withdrawing it, and a removal of all the structures that had been installed. Okay.
Yes.
So we're continuing until 6/18.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstain. It's continued. The next continued hearing is 29 Nelson Street. It was continued. Anybody here for that, or we're continuing?
Highway? Sorry? We Road and Hall. Is it Cranberry Highway?
Yep, she just called.
Okay.
Oh, there was nobody here, so
We were right in the hallway.
oh, all right. Then I guess I need a motion to reopen the hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye, opposed, abstain? And who's here representing the project?
Thank you. My name is Attorney Jeff DeLisi with Thornberger, DeLisi and Harris. To my right is Darren Grady of Grady Consulting. Excuse me. And to my left is the applicant, Kevin Welsh. And thank you for your understanding on that.
Okay, Jeff, can you spell your last name for the record?
Yes, D as in David, E-L-I, S as in Sam, I.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
David Grady and Kevin Walsh, did I get them right?
Darren Grady. Yep.
D-A-R, okay. All right, talk to us about the project, even though it wasn't staked.
Thank you. So the property consists of a little more than 3 acres, 3.16 acres of land. It's improved with multiple buildings, that being a single-family dwelling, a garage, and a few small sheds. And it also has a concrete driveway on the site. The resource...
Concrete or asphalt?
Bituminous concrete.
Okay.
Yep, that's what the plan says. Yep. So the resource areas are bordering vegetated wetlands, a perennial stream, and land subject to flooding. The land subject to flooding is at elevation 14. A small portion of the site, which will not be disturbed in any way, which is in the kind of corner closest to the perennial stream, Darren will show it to you, has been identified as a priority habitat area. There's going to be no work in or near that spot. The ZBA issued a variance recently, which allows the property to be used by tradesmen and storage of materials and tools, and for a base from which those individuals could conduct their businesses. The variance has become final without any appeals, and so we're all set there. The applicant has been approved through that variance to construct and use 2 buildings for that purpose, as well as to utilize the site as, to access the site and for parking of vehicles. While the property contains these resource areas, the jurisdiction of the commission is limited on this property because most of the activity that is being proposed will occur outside of the 100-foot buffer to the bordering vegetated wetland and outside of the 200-foot buffer of the outer riparian zone to the perennial stream. And most of it would be above the flood elevation. So as it stands, and Darren will go through the plan with you, the most prominent existing feature on the property that is within the commission's jurisdiction is a portion of the concrete driveway, which I just referenced. The existing dwelling on the property is outside of the jurisdiction. So what we are proposing to do, essentially, only a very small amount of pavement is proposed within the 100-foot buffer to the BVW, and a small sliver of the driveway access road is also jurisdictional, which is about 168 feet from the perennial stream at its closest point. No portion of the building, no portion of the business activity that would be located within the building is within the jurisdictional setback of the commission. And the limit of work doesn't come close to the priority habitat area. So we believe that the design has minimized any potential impact on the resource areas. In the most responsible fashion, we were able to do that. And Darren can review the plan with you and go over the performance standards and how we meet them. So Darren?
Good evening. The project before you includes two buildings that are outside the riverfront area and outside the 100-foot buffer zone. You asked me if the green light's on. What is?
Is your speaker on? Is the green light on?
Yes, it is. Can you?
You'll have to get a little closer.
No problem. So what's showing up on the screen is actually the stormwater management plan. Could you go to sheet 1?
Pattern here.
We can start here. So this is the existing conditions showing the house. The line closest to the house is 150 foot away from the resource area. The 150-foot mark is something I needed to use for meeting Board of Health standards for my leaching field, for the leaching field here. There, you can see the existing loop driveway. It does go. It connects to Cranberry Highway right near the riverfront area.
Loop driveway comes in like this, okay? Bordering vegetated wetlands up here, the perennial stream is above it. This here is the 50-foot buffer strip to the BBW. This here is the 100-foot buffer strip to the BBW. This green line is the 200-foot outer riparian buffer strip to the perennial stream. This dashed line is the limit of the flood zone, so everything on this side of the dashed line is land subject to flooding. Okay? This line is irrelevant, it's a Board of Health setback line. And I have no idea what this is.
That's a time of concentration line because they're on the drainage sheets. I think if you scroll up.
But hold on, and this here is the priority habitat area.
Okay.
Most of the project is in this space here. And you're going to flip to the proposed plan. You're going to see a jurisdictional area of the access way here. You're going to see a small jurisdictional area over here of a parking lot. And everything else, except on this side of the line, is all away from the resource area.
I hope they could hear you on the, you were loud. Thank you.
I tried.
It was hard not getting a microphone over there to you.
I should have. Am I able to pick this up and do it?
Well,
If you wanted to, you could pick up the one that's.
but little, you got him? Was he loud enough? Okay, thank you. Just in case we've got several people listening at home.
Can you scroll up the PDF about 100 pages? Go to like page 78. The site plan, so you're on the bottom of the drainage
I'm way ahead.
calculations?
Give her a chance to get there, it's a long way.
Yeah, when you have a stormwater report in here.
So now I know why it wasn't staked, because it's all outside of what we can talk about. One of
Exactly.
those things that, where's those stakes? What are they gonna do with all those snow plows?
Yeah,
Yes,
I was
okay.
leading into that because we had reviewed the letter from the abutter, which articulated certain
Well,
issues that are certainly relevant to abutters, but not necessarily relevant to the commission's
maybe
work.
that's why we didn't see it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I can see someone done some shotgun practicing out there, because I saw a lot of spent rounds.
Got it.
Okay, you have a, there's a, you can
You
pick
could
up
pick
that
this
one.
up.
No,
No?
right
Oh,
there.
no, the one over there. That one, yeah, there, you had it right. Karen.
Is the green light on?
Now it is.
Thank you.
So the only part of this that's jurisdictional is the access. The riverfront area is the green area here. And the riverfront area on the whole site is about 87,000 square feet. The impacts to the riverfront area are around 3,000 square feet, and they include the driveway here and also a drainage channel that is here. Can you scroll 2 pages down, or one to the next page? One more. Oh, actually, perfect. So the drainage, we have a drainage swale here. The runoff from the driveway will go into the swale and be mitigated there, as well as the runoff from the roofs is in a stormwater chamber system below the driveway. The idea behind this design was to try to get out of the riverfront. We were only in here for, I think there's 95 square feet of existing driveway that was in there, and I think it's 276 square feet of proposed driveway that's in there. It's a small increase in impervious, but the drainage is in here for the increase. We provided the septic system that's outside the buffer zone. All the utility connections are outside the buffer zone, but it's just the driveway and the drainage swale. We're able to save these 5 trees along this side that are along the driveway, and we'll be able to install the swale there. The red line here is silt sack used for erosion control during construction. It will maintain any construction sediment on the construction side of that. And the area behind here is it's field grass. It used to be mowed. I'm not sure they've been mowing it as of lately, but we're not proposing any changes in there. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay. Anything else? If not, I'll go to the board for questions. Jessica?
You just said that it's only a small increase to impervious,
Correct.
but isn't this whole thing going to be impervious now? Or are you just saying within our jurisdiction?
Within the riverfront.
It's in the area that is within your jurisdiction where the activity would occur is all previously disturbed in any event, just so you know.
Well, there's a house there right now, right? And
Yeah,
grass
yeah,
all
but-
around it.
Yeah, yeah.
Come back to me.
Paula Jean? Keep in mind what we're limited to our discussion.
I know, that's
I know you're going to talk about the trees coming down and you
the
can't-
trees, yes,
Yeah.
but I realize the limits of our jurisdiction. Because I wanted to mention how I did go there, walk the field, walk the perimeter, and as usual, I look and in the wetland, there's massive amounts of trash and debris, and I always feel like the person presenting the project as a good steward of their land would, of course, want to clean all that up as the first step of a new project. And I'm asking that you would consider doing that. The other thing I would ask is, how could we talk about having more impervious and not pervious any paving that's going to be put in there? I feel much more comfortable about that, you know. It's a beautiful field. It's kind of sad to see it.
Well, the
that area
field's
be
not,
destroyed.
we have,
Field-
I know that.
the
sorry.
field's not going to
Of
be
course.
disturbed.
Well, it might feel disturbed by what it's proximate to. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you were asking that we clean up some of the debris that's currently in the wetland area?
Yes.
I don't see any problems with that, right? And depending on what the debris is.
There's plastic barrels, and then when you take steps closer, there's just miscellaneous trash, you know. that's accumulated over a period of time.
I totally agree with you. The place is in extreme disarray as it is right now.
Right.
I've been working with the current owner, going through the project with the realtor that had it listed and helping them clean it up. Because I told them, I said, you know, we need to get it cleaned up as it is now. It's just, there's debris everywhere.
Yeah.
And when everything is done and we pass papers, the place will be spotless. It will be 100% cleaned up. All the debris, the trash will be cleaned up 100%. I've been helping them with get rid of the boats that they had there. They were all in the field.
Yep.
Also, Darren had mentioned that the 4 trees at the
Edge of the
east-
driveway?
Yeah, on the left side of the driveway, those were kept at my request.
Oh.
So I told Darren, I said, I want to keep these trees, I don't want to take them down. They were like, not that it's a big deal, but they were planted by the previous, the current owner's husband when they were young, and they're like fruit trees.
It's an apple and a Japanese
Yeah,
maple.
okay, so.
Yeah, they're
And I
young.
just thought it would be nice, since I'm not working on that side, I want to keep the trees.
Thank you.
And I wasn't even talking about the amount of trash by the house that obviously is associated with the dwelling. I meant if you walk past the edge of the field into the trees on the buffer of where it's wet and look in there, and that's where all the other trash is. That's probably been there from years ago.
Yeah, so we would certainly agree to a condition that we make efforts to do that. Absolutely.
Great.
Thank you. That's more walking than I did. I only stayed around the house.
No, I go to the entire thing.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
You're welcome.
Autumn.
No questions, thank you.
Michael,
I was going to ask the same questions about the trees and stuff, so for now, I'm all set. Thank you, Matt.
Kwame,
No questions, thank you.
back to Jessica.
So I see that there are comments. There was a comment submitted by an abutter.
That's, unless it's talking about our wetlands, we can't deal with it. We don't deal with it because it's outside of our jurisdiction. Only that small portion of that semicircular driveway. Okay. Christine, in comments?
You have some of the work, it looks like, being done in the 0 to 100 foot of the riverfront area. Was there any mitigation that was proposed?
Can you point out the area from 0 to 100 riverfront area that's being impacted? I had 0 impacts in there because we're 162 feet to the erosion control, so I have nothing between 0 and 100.
Let's see.
Just the corner of the driveway.
Correct.
Yeah, am I looking at the wrong map? Then I'm looking at your proposed conditions.
Can I approach your table?
Yeah.
It might be in this area here.
Maybe I'll ask her. It's here.
So as far as mitigation,
So 0 to 100 is someplace.
same 50 to 100 feet buffered from the street. Vegetated buffer also.
Yeah, we won't be able
project.
to see.
Yeah.
So, like, if the trees are here,
Yep.
I have no problem. Well, there's one tree there. Yeah. Putting another tree, I have no
Sorry, you
problem.
meant BVW.
I'm in favor of that stuff anyways. Like, I like the tree.
All set?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nope.
Has there been a DEP number assigned to this?
No, so that DEP file number hasn't come through yet.
So you're not going to be, you're going to be continued because we don't have a DEP file.
Could you close the hearing pending the DEP file and then vote?
We prefer not to.
Okay, because they might have
It's-
comments.
Right, historically, we wait for
Yep.
the DEP to finalize it. And whether or not you choose whether to come back for a continued hearing, that would be your decision, in case there's any comments on it, but we don't normally close until we get the state. Okay, anybody online or in the audience would like to discuss this project? Keep in mind, we're limited to those items associated with conservation of the wetlands. Anybody? Yep, please come forward and identify yourself.
Hello, my name is Greg Tolman.
Please, you need to come up to the microphones. Gentlemen, one of you are going to have to give up your seat.
My name is Greg Feldman.
Okay, Greg, have a seat and talk to us only with our wetlands.
Why do you say the driveway is concrete when it's asphalt?
Well, I asked that question. When I drove on it, I thought it was asphalt. But maybe it's concrete under the asphalt, I don't know.
It's asphalt. Why do you say it's concrete?
Well, it's bituminous concrete. That's what he was saying. That's what he referred to.
Okay, I always thought it hard top, but black top.
So asphalt and bituminous concrete are the same as far as what...
Okay, there's your answer. It's the type of material that can be identified as bituminous. Say that again, what type of?
Bituminous concrete.
Okay,
But both are impervious, so.
yes, I would just,
All right, so there's no difference.
virtually none. You can't get water through it, either one.
Okay.
Okay, and it's already existing.
Can I ask any questions of Kevin, or just, that's it?
Well, through me, is it associated with
So I
conservation?
can't ask questions, I can only ask questions to you.
And then I will ask them if they're willing to respond. So, but only associated with the wetlands that we are oversee. Okay,
All right, thank you for your time.
okay, thank you.
But if you want to talk, we're happy to talk to you outside.
All right, we're going to continue until, yes? Okay, come forward, please, and identify yourself.
Thomas Harrigan.
Oh, wait, come up to the microphone.
I'm not real good with this stuff.
And remember, only discuss those items associated with the wetlands. Okay, identify yourself.
I'm Thomas Harrigan from 2727 Cranberry Highway.
Uh-huh,
Live right next door. The building's basically going to be on top of our house.
okay.
And the water from that is going to affect the groundwater that we have coming up into the basement.
You believe that the
I know it
runoff
will.
from these two
When they did highway
buildings?
concrete, it already happened.
Any comment on the, how you're going to handle the runoff from the buildings associated with this?
Yes, as previously stated, we're going to have roof drains that connect to an underground chamber system underneath the driveway, so it's more to the middle of the site. The groundwater in that area would go towards the river itself, away from any other site, so I don't think there'd be any impact to the
course there's gonna
property
be.
that is west of us.
Okay. So they are accommodating a fairly large underground storage area for, take the runoff from the two buildings. Does that answer your?
Highway concrete told us, and our basement flooded.
Well,
Basement still floods.
that one I can't talk to
Wells and
that one.
pumps and ditches all the way around the house, and this is just gonna make it worse. And we have a pool.
Well, there's nothing, I'm sorry, but that's outside of what, I mean, they have accommodated the runoff from the roof. That's the best I can tell you, looking at the plans, but it's outside of our purview. Okay, thank you for your comment.
Thanks for your help.
Anybody else? We are going to continue until the 6:18, with lack of a no DEP.
So moved.
Thank you.
A motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained. We're continue until 6:18.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
The next hearing is for 28 Nelson Street. Anybody here for that project?
You continued that one.
We're continuing that one until 6:18.
6:18. Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to continue until 6:18. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained. We're continued until 6:18. Next one is Safe Harbor Marina, Onset Bay.
Do you want the, Madam Chairman, do you want the board on the stand?
Fine, I mean, it's,
I mean, have it on the screen. I have it here.
I think the screen will probably be easier for us to see, because that's a little far away from even
Sure.
with glasses.
You want the layout?
Yeah, can someone turn that, we had this is a hearing for Safe Harbor Marine Onset Bay LLC, 3 Green Street, and who's here representing the project?
Good evening. I'm attorney Steve Gard, G-U-A-R-D. With me this evening is Tom Pozerski from Merrill Engineering.
Spell the last name for the record.
P-O-Z-E-R-S-K-I.
All right, who's going to talk to us about this major renovation?
Okay. Tom's got it.
I will start. This has a DEP file number 0762909. As far as, talk a little about the existing conditions and the resource areas that we have present here. We have a wetlands area, which is a salt marsh. We have coastal beach, land subject to coastal storm flowage. Obviously, we have the ocean nearby. And associated with those resource areas, we have a 50-foot no activity zone, 100-foot wetlands buffer. The site contains towards the harbor side a velocity zone at elevation 19, and the majority of the site is mapped as AE 16. The site also is not an ACEC, it's not a National Heritage Endangered Species mapped area. There's no certified vernal pools or potential vernal pools. There's no Zone 2 or sensitive water resources for drinking water supplies located in the area. Under existing conditions, we have 2 older buildings there. The administration and Marine Service building, the smaller one, the brick one, is rather old. It's beyond repair. A substantial part of that building is located in the velocity zone. That structure comprises about 9,200 square feet. The existing larger Marine Services building is approximately probably about 50 years old. If you've been out to the site, you can see that that building has also had it. A portion of that building is located in the velocity zone. We did upgrade, as you are all aware, the boat rack system. So we did the bulkhead. We did stormwater improvements and recharge improvements in that area. However, the remainder of the site basically has very poor stormwater controls, stormwater quality controls. And under proposed conditions, what we're planning on doing is we're going to plan on to look forward to what the new regulations we think are going to say, which is to take things and move them away from the flood hazard areas. And that's a part of the thing with the building code issue. We're putting in down where the brick building is, that's 9,200 square feet. We're going to be constructing a building that's 3,253 square feet with a deck. So it's much smaller. It's all elevated. All the construction is going to be flood compliant. And the goal of this newer building in the back is to get that out of the flood hazard area and try to provide extensive stormwater control measures and treatment and as much buffer as we can. And what we also want to do is ensure that we're getting all the boats that get stored out in the open there as much as we can inside, so they'll be around the rack area and inside here. As you can see, that we've allocated parking where the building is, and we're getting our stormwater control measures put in there. We put a lot of thought into the stormwater management system, but let me talk about a little bit of the wetland resource area impacts. I'll talk about existing, proposed, and the changes. The 0 to 50-foot buffer for the building in the wetlands, we have almost 11,000 square feet of existing building in the area. Under proposed conditions, we'll have 2,901. So that's a reduction of almost 8,000 square feet of building in that 0 to 50-foot buffer. And then from the 50 to 100, we have 13,740 square feet of building under existing conditions. Under proposed conditions, it's 12,224. So that's a reduction of 1,258 square feet. One that I like is the VE area, which is the high hazard coastal area. We have an existing 6,476 square feet of building in that area. We're reducing that down to 1,356, which is basically a portion of the deck area. That's a reduction
of 5,100 square feet. Impervious coverage for asphalt. Under the 0 to 50, we have almost 28,000 square feet of asphalt in that 0 to 50. We're reducing that down to 24,417 square feet, so that's over a 3,200 square foot reduction of asphalt. The 50 to the 100, we're reducing it by 512 square feet. And one of the things that I like is, under current conditions, the site is pretty much developed. And to classify the open space, it's not exactly the best, but we have 20,500 square feet, and we're going to provide almost 27,000, and we will have, some legitimate open spaced areas when we put things in there. The stormwater treatment measures consist of segregating what is considered clean roof runoff, and we're putting that into large stormwater infiltration systems. And then for the parking lot area, we're taking as much of that parking lot area as we can, and we are putting it into deep sump catch basins, hydrodynamic separators, infiltration structures, and then they have weirs in the infiltration structures that overflow into sediment traps and grass swales. And what we've done, if you could, can you go to the next sheet, please? Yeah, right there. Okay. You can see adjacent to the resource areas, what I've put into this design are a few things. Is to give longitudinal sediment traps and grass swales. So if there's anything that flows overland that doesn't get in the catch basins, it'll get captured in there before it goes into the wetland resource area. And from, if you've been out to the site, that wetland resource area is presently receiving a heavy sediment load. The other part of the thing that we're looking to do is, there is a municipal drainage system that comes down from Maple Street, and it has issues. It has had issues for many years. And once we get, there's a boat that's parked over the manhole in the yard. I want to get those inverts, but our plan is to take and work to get that system cleaned out, relocated, new piping, and put it in the treatment drain, which will certainly help out the abutters, because I know they complained about that when we were for the rack system. And it's just an old system that's clogged. And I think where it goes into the site in a catch basin and then goes into the swale, it's all buried and covered over, where they had some of the older roadways out there and coming off of the other roadways. That's the town's responsibility. Yeah, and it's the town's drainage system, but we're willing to work with them on that issue. We have a during construction erosion control plan, and we have a long-term pollution prevention plan for maintenance of the stormwater system. And we have designed this stormwater system for the higher level to suit the marine industrial use, which is a land use with potentially higher pollutant load. That's what I have. I'll be happy to address any questions or concerns.
Wow. You threw a lot of numbers at us.
Well, we're trying to make it a better site is what we're doing.
Yes. Well, so, all right, I will go around and I will start with Kwame.
Yeah, that's a lot of information. I think the last time I went to the site was over a year ago. And I know that the water encapsulation is a big upgrade that you're trying to do now. And it'll be a much more improvement. But you said something about the deck area. I think it's on the bottom left.
Yeah. We go to the, yeah.
Yeah, the existing area. You're bringing that up?
Yes, we have to. But we're not going to exceed the height by zoning. We're bringing it up so the structural components are above the floodplain.
I understand.
Right. So it'll be a pile-supported structure.
I understand. And the residents that live over there, they're okay?
Well,
They're okay with that?
Well,
not us.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
This is out of my jurisdiction. Okay, sorry about that.
We'll get to that eventually.
Okay. Thank you
Planning and
thank you.
zoning.
You answered all my questions. Thank you.
Yeah.
Michael,
Okay, I imagine work's gonna be done during a certain time of year or during certain parts of the day during this project?
Yeah.
Right.
Autumn.
How long do you expect this project to take?
This will probably be a good year, maybe a little bit more.
Okay. And do you have a plan to just protect the soil as things are being broken down, brought in? Because we just need
Yeah,
to see that.
absolutely. We have in the plan set, we have an erosion control plan with plenty of notes. It's an EPA level during construction plan where we will have erosion control measures installed prior to construction. They're going to have to be inspected regularly. If sediment gets up to half of the erosion control measure, it needs to be taken care of. And we've got that all prescribed in the plan set. If there's dewatering operations, that's planned for as well. With dirt bags, they call it dirt bags because it captures dirt and sediment, and lets the clean water breathe out of it. Yeah, so that's pretty prescriptive in the whole submittal.
And did I see you're putting in a new retaining wall as well?
We are.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Paula Jean.
Well, Autumn covered my questions. So its project will take a year. Are you going to close down during that year? Are you going to
No.
function?
No, they
Same time?
basically phase things in. The members get plenty of advance notice of what to do and how things are going. It's a well-coordinated event, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Jessica,
You've covered my question. Thank you.
my turn.
Okay.
You're going to increase the amount of parking around the area? You're really moving the building from one further away from the water, right?
Correct.
Door storage.
Right. We are not, there is no increase in slips, there's no increase in memberships. We're limited by the license that they have. We're just providing line spaces for the members and visitors to park.
Behind the existing building, there is a lot of stuff. Well, that lot of stuff.
Oh, a
being
big one. Yeah, that's,
stored behind the big building, a lot of blocks and stuff that you would use to hold up the boats, and looks like timbers and all cleaned out. I will be. Now, here's my question for you. You're going to put in more parking areas, and I understand you'll have a different water retention catch for items coming off of the paved area. Most of it's all paved, and you have gravel, which will become paved, or the gravel area will be covered with a new building. Most of the graveled area will be covered with a new building, which means it will have a solid floor on it. Now, my question for you is, what are you going to do when you clean the boats off? What are you going to do with the barnacles that come off when you clean the bottom paint? You're going to do bottom paint. What are you going to do when you redo them? I'm concerned about the materials coming off the boat in your normal work process.
Sure.
As you clean them for storage for the winter and getting ready for the spring. Kept our boat there for years and years, and I know what type of contamination happens underneath the boat when you get ready to bottom paint the little sucker.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'd like to know how you're going to accommodate that in this new site.
okay. The boat maintenance and cleaning operations predominantly will take place inside. However, there are provisions and there are requirements when they have their MPD. This site is monitored as a marine, it's a marine industrial site. It's sector Q and R under the EPA. So you have an NPDES SWIP that provides and requires you to take care of things like if they're maintaining boats, if they're doing the maintenance work outside, they're supposed to put tops down and have spill kits available. They have spill kits available inside the unit itself, and that stuff's supposed to be cleaned up and disposed of properly. It's not supposed to be allowed to just fall on the ground and go in the gravel and allow the barnacles and the zinc and the copper and all that other stuff. All right, so this new building inside, which they don't have right now, will have slope floors that have a floor drain, and the floor drain goes to a mass oil water separator that has to be maintained. And the other thing that they also are required to do is quarterly stormwater sampling and testing and reporting to the EPA, and at the end of the year, they do an annual summary, let's call it, and when they find things, they have to implement corrective actions. And the EPA now requires, that those corrective actions to be more substantial each incident. So that's the great thing about this is not only are we improving over the current situation with the gravel and everything just goes into the ground, and yes, there's fill, but there's also pervious soil there. But now this is getting taken and treat, you know, the stuff that's inside the building, that gets captured in the drains, and that gets pumped out. And that doesn't release into the stormwater system. The stuff outside, they're supposed to be putting tarps up, and if they need, they can put perimeter protections on it and have the spill kits and all those rags and everything else. They take it and inside the building itself, because this is in a Zone AE area, all of the hazardous materials and all of the hazardous waste is elevated. It's in secondary containment. It's labeled. And any of that material that you just spoke of, they're supposed to contact a licensed hazardous waste hauler and keep records and documents of it in their plan to remove it off-site and dispose of it lawfully.
Thank you. The existing office building will be modified, reduction in size?
Correct.
Oh,
To
yeah.
really be something for the boat owners to have for a porch or showers or better showers and stuff like that?
Right. It's a membership building, and then the offices in operation will be moved into the larger
To the
building.
bigger building?
Yeah.
Yes, I noticed that transition.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think that your question, you sounded like, Tom did a nice job describing the containment system in the new building, which we don't have that now, you
Yes.
know? But I think your question was geared a little bit more towards what's happening to the boats when they first come out of the water and they get washed off the debris and whatnot. And John is our on-site manager, and he's very familiar with the brand-new system that we have. All of our yards now have a catch basin, basically a catch system where we power wash the boats right at the edge of the water, and that separates the liquid from the solids. And it goes into a filter system, there's a pump system, it's actually incredibly sophisticated what we do. And I will say another thing too is that we don't allow copper bottom paint. We don't use it anymore, so that you know, most of the bottom paints today, the modern bottom paints, are not as damaging to the environment as once was. But John, if you could just
And
describe
thank you,
the
because
system.
I know when I bought them painted, I had to dress up and
Yeah.
mask and everything else like that. Okay.
They still do that, ma'am, they still do that, and we actually have to use sanders that retrap all of the dust as well.
Yes.
They're HEPA-filtered sanders that pull all that in. We don't really let people sand their own bottoms anymore because they don't have the right equipment to protect the environment the way we need to do it.
My husband wasn't that protective. He says, "You're small
I
enough,
wasn't
you
either.
can get under that boat,
I grew up at
Sandy."
the Mattapoisett Boatyard, never wore a face mask, and I sanded a lot of bottoms.
And you're still here.
I'm still kicking. But if you could
Comments,
describe how
please.
that
Thank you.
system
You
works.
Come a little forward to the microphone and identify yourself.
John Boone, the GM at Onset Bay Marina. We do have a brand-new catch system that we just purchased. It basically, we boom off the area, and when you bottom wash, it falls into that area, and then it all gets vacuumed into a holding tank trailer. And then as the particles settle to the bottom, then you can dispose of that. It doesn't go back into the water at all. It's all contained. But it's not contained in an underground system anymore. It's all an above ground on a trailer situation.
Thank you.
So
Thank you
any
for
of the
input.
growth on the bottom of the boat that actually takes with it when we wash it off, any
It
little,
takes the bottom paint away.
like, takes little bits of it, that gets trapped in a system that gets hauled away, a containment system like a tight tank you would see in a normal, you know, floor drain. So it's very, I will say that, you know, Tom really focuses on how to develop the site in the most effective, environmentally safe way, and I think that's what we have done here. We've, the numbers that we threw at you were big, and I get that, but all of them were in the right direction. You know, less pervious surface, et cetera, less structures in pervious activity in the buffer zone. So you got a lot of numbers, but if you look at the table on the plan, they're all in the right direction. So we're improving the location of the structures in relation to the resource areas. And we've got resource areas that, you know, they've grown up that lower end of Nanumit Street. They've grown into the back of the buildings, and this will allow us to take the existing building and actually move it away from, not the buffer, the resource itself, because you see on the plan, the flags are right behind that building. And I think this is it's a really good plan that will help manage the stormwater. We don't get into it with you folks but when we get into the site plan approval, we get more detailed into the drainage systems that Tom has designed. We're going to see a lot better stormwater management, and that'll help us and it'll help the neighbors as well.
Where do you plan to put the items that are currently stored behind the shed?
I would imagine that, so right now we have planned, the new building will have parking back there, and those will likely be either stored inside the building, or they'll be stored in a lay-down area that would be outside of the buffer zone.
You'll need places for your poppets,
Blocks and stands.
and the stands and all, which is most of what's behind that shed. As your boats get put in the water, then you need a place to get rid of the stuff they were sitting on.
They'll be moved into the new building
Okay,
in the summertime.
because I noticed that back area will be a big parking area, which is a critical, nothing to do with conservation, but that's always been an issue at your side, is find a place to park. Yeah.
It's going to help a lot. The parking configuration is, we struggle with it. This
Okay.
new layout design will be very helpful, and we vetted just in the hallway the ability of the fire trucks to now get around the new building and be able to access all four sides of the building, as well as being able to access our property and still have the opportunity to fight a fire on someone on Maple Street, the backside of Maple Street. So it's a tremendous improvement.
Christine, any comments?
You guys are very close to that little salt marsh that's starting to grow over here.
Excuse me? She said we're close to the salt marsh
Yes,
that's
we are.
starting to grow? Yeah.
Yeah. You guys were proposing to have some of the runoff go into the salt marsh? Was that?
It goes there now.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're doing is we're treating it tremendously and providing a large amount of infiltration before it gets there. So by the time that stormwater gets to that, it's gone through about 4 treatment trains.
Yeah. And is that where the swale's going to be too, Tom?
Yeah.
To catch any, so there's
Yeah,
also a swale design next to the
There's a swale there
little-
that's going to be 2 feet deep, the water will come in, pool up it, and then it's going to go to the grass well and do the same thing.
And the idea of the swale is to try to catch any, surface debris that ends up running off the parking lot. It'll stay there before it rolls
And we
into
can
the
easily
marsh.
clean it out.
Easily get picked
You
up.
can occasionally pick up the trash.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Instead of going in the marsh to get it. Yes, exactly. Which I think is what happens now,
Yeah,
if
Christine,
it happens at
anything
all.
else?
No, I would probably feel a little better having somebody maybe peer review this project, though, since it is so large.
That probably is a very good idea, because I think I would like to have somebody more professional than what you see in front of you, just understand what you're recommending, especially for stormwater
Sure.
runoff from the roof. Well, more than likely, the runoff from the paved areas I'm concerned about, and I would prefer to see a professional take a look at it for us.
Well, we definitely fully expect to have it peer reviewed when we get to the site plan approval process, so
And if we could do it for us, then maybe it can help you when you come in front of planning or zoning, whichever one you have to go in front of, right?
Yeah, zoning, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be our, yes, please contact our peer reviewer person and have them look at the site and the plans and give us a recommendation.
Yes.
We could get them to review it for stormwater and everything. You don't have
I
to-
don't think that could be done in a week, 2 weeks. Well, we'll continue until 6:18 and see where we stand.
Yeah, and we usually use Phil Cadero for things like this, so I'll reach out to him tomorrow.
So maybe he can do zoning and us at the same time type
Yeah.
thing. Okay.
Perfect, that'd be great.
Yeah, just
Before I
send
go
us the
to-
contact information, we'll be happy to get started.
Before I go to the
Yes.
public, does commissions have any other questions or concerns or discussions? Anybody in the audience or online that would like to speak to this project, please come forward and identify yourself.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
We have one online.
Okay. Let him in and we'll contact him when we're, please identify yourself.
Hi, my name's Chelsea Watson Donnellen. I live at 22 Maple Street, which is on the other side, on the top of the screen.
You see the back of the building.
I do. I personally don't have any problems with the boatyard. We are very cordial with each other. I sent Christine an email earlier today. My issue is the storm drain issue, which they know a lot about. I've lived in our house now for going on 6 years, and I've been told previous years before that there's always been an issue before. I've documented photos, emails, etc., starting in 2018 all the way up until current. While the conditions have gotten some better, it's still not been fixed. And since I'm the lowest point on the street, my property gets all the runoff and all the trash. I have 2 small children at home, dogs, everything's outside, everything comes in my backyard. I shared the photos with Christine earlier. I printed one off for you guys to pass around as well to look at, as well as an email that I have sent to the municipal department trying to get it handled over the last 6 years. The catch basins are cleaned, they're like dug out, they've jet rotted it twice. I've been told that there's a pipe that is broken alongside the back of the old building, so that it's not going out to the water anymore, which not saying that it should go out to the water, but the boatyard is also not really having any of the damage because I am the low point. So I am the catch basin. My property is for them as well as the street. That's the most part. Can I bring this over?
Yeah, and well, now, Tom, did I hear you address that you're going to help with that stormwater?
Yeah, they've got a boat they have to move that's been on it, because I went down to look at it a couple of weeks ago when Christine and I walked the site and there was a boat still on it. So I need to pop that manhole and see what's going on to get an idea.
So you'll be taking a look to see what it is?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
And
We're aware of the problem.
something to be considering if that storm drain is collapsed, you could work with municipal maintenance to see what can be done to repair the condition.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
figure out where it's gotta go and-
We're absolutely opting to
John
do
told
that.
you that we would
This
do
is
that.
what we
Yeah, we're
said
doing it.
Yes.
when we did the boat rack, that we would be
Yes.
looking at this issue at this time.
And the boat's still on it, and your boat's, okay. Anything else?
Yes.
In a minute.
You'll see as you go through the photos, like there's upwards of 4 inches of water that I could have in my backyard at times. I know you're going to address it, but just
Try, yeah.
since I'm here to address you,
Appreciate your comments on it.
it's not only the water buildup, it's the debris that you'll see in the photos that piles in front of my house that no one cleans up. So it either goes down the drain or I'm left cleaning up trash, sand, whatever it may be. As well as there's also measurements in the photos that a portion of my house is on pilings, and the erosion on the side of the pilings is now measuring up to 9 to 10 inches. And the town still does not seem to care or address the issue. I've spoken with John a couple times to ask him if the town has followed up with him to have the boats, equipment, et cetera, removed. And he advised that they don't. It's kind of a, the town says this, the boatyard says this. Like, I tried to get all 3 of us together the last time they jet rotted, which is a couple weeks ago. But unfortunately, everyone was gone before I could try to get everyone together. But yeah, like anything.
What's causing the erosion around your pylons?
Because the storm, so there's 2 catch basins in front of my house. They're the only ones on the street.
And they don't work well?
They don't work well. The water goes up, it goes over the little concrete barrier, and then the water goes underneath my house. In another portion of my house, the water just sits under my house, so now mold's growing, et cetera. Like, I've been trying to address this for 6 years, and now finally with the boatyard wanting to do this construction, I finally have a bigger corporation to go after, not go after the town, but push.
Look for help. I mean, there's no reason why you should have that type of condition underneath your house.
I'm picking up glass, cigarette butts, just anything from the road and from my yard when my daughters are playing and they have glass around their play sets, or the dogs, or, so on and so forth. And I've just sent countless emails, phone calls. I mean, they see me and they know me, and they're like, oh, it's the girl from 22 Maple Street, run the other way.
When you say they, you're talking about
the town, probably.
Municipal maintenance?
Probably, and I see John a lot. I go visit them. I've never met you guys in person, but John knows my concerns. The parking lot is gravel, so I'm sure once they do pave that, a lot of the gravel probably won't go in. But I want whatever storm drain runoff from the property from the boatyard as well as Maple Street to account into whatever volume that it can hold and account for. Because, again, it's not going to the boatyard and it's not going to any of my other neighbors. It's going to my property because I'm the lowest. Even the deck, or the fence in between my property is rotten at the bottom because there's so much water runoff. I mean, just look at the photos and it'll explain enough.
Thank you. In a minute. So, Tom, are you understanding the condition?
Oh,
we're-
yeah. Yeah, I'll go, once that boat is moved, I want to pop the manhole cover, and, we can go have a talk and take it from there, see what
Because
the issue is.
I'm sure what we will condition is that there is a major improvement in the handling of the stormwater on the site.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's given.
Yeah, that's a given, and that's
Yeah.
why we said, we'll come in as a professional engineer, take a look at it, and see what needs to be
Thank
done,
you.
and get a hold of
Yeah,
the
I just have a couple more questions for them,
Okay.
if that's okay. You said there's going to be a retaining wall. Which part is the retaining wall built at? Which side? Is it on like my side?
It's up in this corner here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
so
way away from-
on my side, it's.
Well, we have a wall coming here and around, and then down here, we have a little bit of a wall to make up the
right.
grade, but we
Yeah, yeah,
don't
yeah,
have
'cause
any
it slopes.
in here at the low point, because we don't need it.
Sure. What do you consider a low wall? Like what is?
Well, over here, there's probably going to be, a couple feet or two to make up the grade. Over here, because of where the intersection is, that's much higher.
Sure. Is there a fence like a privacy fence on top of the
Yes,
retaining
there
wall?
is. We're going to put a privacy fence, we're going to put some landscaping up there as well.
Okay, and I know like that's kind of next steps after we get through this,
Right.
but tall enough so that when cars are parking, I don't have to have conversations with people.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
Yeah.
Okay,
But you're right, we'll do this when we do the site plan.
Sure.
It's not really Concom stuff, but.
sure, yeah. And when you said 1 year long process, is that like from complete demo to completion of all phases?
Well, it's a year or so, It depends on the weather and everything else.
Yeah.
Sure, and then like what is the estimated start date?
Oh, we have no idea.
We don't know yet.
That's fine.
We're just getting started.
Sure.
This is our first step. We got to go to planning, and then we got to, get
zoning.
some other
Absolutely.
permits.
And then last question, and then I'm finished. The wash-off catch basin that like the boats are washed off at, where's the area that you wash off at? Is it down towards,
Way down here.
okay, in the new area where the racks are?
Yeah, where we
Okay.
haul the boats out.
Sure. I'm like, catch basin would be nice
Yeah.
up at my area.
Yeah. Well, you got Tom, he'll figure out how to fix it.
Yes, and like I said, the boatyard has worked with me. I voiced my concern with them. They're, trying to help with the town. No complaints on that, just as far as being considerate of the neighbors, preserving the land around us, the privacy, the road, et cetera. But we can, those are next steps once we get past conservation.
Okay, thank you for your comments, and
Thank you.
we'll do what we can to get this better improved. Now, you wanted to come to speak to us. You have to come up to the table. Up to the table, and identify yourself again, please, so they can be heard. Thank you.
Bill Bogans, Maple Street. This is
What
just...
number Maple Street, sir?
17.
Thank you.
This is just further to what Chelsea was just focusing on with the stormwater and the storm drain. I just wanted to give some input on that. There are several other things we have to talk, or would like to talk about. I think Jim's going to talk about some things. But it was probably a year and a half ago now that I'm not sure if it was Chelsea, I don't know who it was, but reported to the town that essentially there was a sinkhole behind her fence in the parking lot at the boatyard. And the town came down, to your point of what's under the manhole. This didn't even get to the manhole. And they just came down, put a bunch of fill in it, packed it down. So the drain pipe running through, so just to give you perspective again, on Maple Street in front of Chelsea's house, there are storm drains. The storm drain pipe runs through her yard over into the boatyard, okay? Where it went in on the boatyard side, something failed over there, and rather than repair it, they just dumped a load of stuff on it, packed it down, and said, call it a day.
Thank you.
So, just some input.
Yep. Who else would like to comment? Please come forward and identify yourself.
Jim Morrissey, 26 Maple Street. I like the comment that this is a major project, and, I'm glad you're going to get peer review, and because I think something of this magnitude really will require a second set of eyes, and I hope the person that you bring on board to do that is fully qualified as an environmental engineer, scientist,
Yes.
advanced degrees.
We are comfortable with him. He's done several for us, yes.
So I'd like to make a comment. I am really shocked that very few people are here at this meeting today. I know it was originally scheduled in May and was postponed, but I don't know if it was effectively communicated to the, because there are a lot of abutters that I knew were going to be at that first meeting, and I was rather shocked to see hardly anybody here for this meeting.
All we can do is at the first meeting, which has been publicized on the papers, and we indicated continuance, and it's up to the abutters to follow that continuance. Other than that, it doesn't go back into the papers.
Yeah, I noticed that, yeah. Okay, for the first time, I mean, I've never seen the topographical map with a delineation of the wetland area, the buffer area, the no activity zone. I would like to see that and see where they're proposing to put the new parking lot in that area, and I want to make assurances. I mean, are we going to see trees cut down, vegetation cut down, berms removed, berms put up? I mean, I have...
The plans are online. Now, to get to them, if you were to go to the town website under meetings and agenda, go down to conservation and get the agenda and click on this hearing, it will bring you up to all the plans online.
Okay, and it has all the delineation of all the...
Everything.
Everything?
Yep. Pages and pages of... How many pages is this? 100 and some odd?
180, what was this?
51.
151 pages of the, including...
I don't think the link's working because I tried to do that at the beginning.
I did too, and I couldn't download it.
And when I click on the blue, Safe Harbor Marina, blah, blah,
Doesn't come
nothing
up?
happens, no. And
How
I've
about
had
from a
that-
previous month?
I am in the I am for the one that was scheduled before, the 21st
All right,
of
we'll
last
speak to
month.
Christine to see if
So-
that can be done, because
Yeah, because it does not always
when we're
work.
sent the agenda, we can get a link. And I thought it worked through the
Not
town
here. I
website.
fully expected it to show me
has.
all the plans when I click it, and
When
zero
she comes
happens.
back, we will ask her to make sure that the agendas that are posted on the town website allows you to
Still
link.
be-
There's another way of linking to it, through the planning.
Want to go to the website, warehamma.portal.opengov.com.
Start over, okay?
Slower, he's writing.
WAREHAMMA dot PORTAL dot OPENGOV.com.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And the
And I
links do
search
work.
by the record number that's on the agenda, so you'll
Okay.
see NOI,
Okay.
or,
All right.
and
Now-
you'll type that in.
NOI 127.
27.
Now, will we,
Of course, there's no, I don't know how to get the information out to everybody else there to look at it.
yeah, okay. Will we be able to, the residents, the abutters, how will we get access to the peer review?
The peer review,
It will go online to that site once it's published.
yeah, the peer review will be uploaded to the application, so you'll be able to view it.
Okay, all right,
And you can always ask Christine to say, hey, is it up there yet?
okay, all right.
One more phone call she's going to take, yes. So yes, it will be available once we have it.
Okay, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Kwame, did you want to,
Oh, no, I was just saying the links work.
the links work for you
I'm
on the town website? Anybody else? Please come forward and identify yourself.
Do you want to have a
Can I
magic
just ask
touch?
one quick question? You guys, what's your purview relative to this project and the safety, fire protection, all of that stuff?
We're here for the wetlands. We're not planning, we're not zoning, we're not emergency or anything like that. We're here for the wetlands.
Thank you.
That's why you got planning and zoning and all the other emergency people have review. Please identify yourself.
Yes, hello. My name is Vic Paquette. I'm at 6 Green Street, right across from Safe Harbor Marina. I guess, comment is really just a question for the applicants. So I certainly understand why the large gas tanks needs to be moved, because otherwise it would be inside the new building that's being planned. But it's a large tank. It's going to now be moved to the edge of the property, right across from my house. Just wondering if this plan is the best in terms of environmental conservation, and I'm not the expert as this is, but it's moving gas lines and a really large gas tank. I don't know exactly how that works, but I just wanted to know what the thought process was behind the planning of moving such a large gas tank towards the end of the property line.
Tom, can you address that?
Sure.
Thank you.
So it is common practice to try to obviously keep those tanks the further away from the coastal hazard areas, so that's one of the main reason for moving it. The second reason is what they'll do is they have automatic shutoffs and valves. The tank will be fully purged. When we move it, if you get a copy of the plans and you look at it, we're putting a retaining wall, and we're going to have a fence over it as well to help screen it. We're trying to keep it where it's easy for and another thing for this is the truck can pull down, pull into the yard, fuel it efficiently, and leave instead of having a difficult maneuver and everything. It's kind of like almost think of it as pulling up to a convenience store, but.
So now the current tank is against a building that exists there, and now it's being moved towards the street. Sometimes and I know this, so I don't want to go beyond the purview of the Conservation Board here today, but so I don't know really why the tank gets moved to the edge of the property. In terms of the pull out and pull in, I don't think that's really the issue. It's in one place. It could be moved in a shorter distance and to the closer to the building, and it wouldn't necessarily be any much more of a problem for someone to load the tank and do those kinds of things. So.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your comments.
Yeah, and I will just say that, of course, the Safe Harbor Marina, they've been good neighbors, at least to me so far. I've been there about 2.5 years. Appreciate this, but just wanted to bring that up to see whether or not this was something that could be dealt with. And my thought was that in the past, I think I was told that the location of the tank has been sort of an issue, at least among some of the neighbors. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else in line? If not, I'll go to the person online. Please identify yourself.
Put those spaces there.
Is she muted?
Are you going to the person online? That
Yes,
would be
I'm going
me.
to the person online. Identify yourself, please.
Okay. I'm sorry, I can't fully see the room if someone else was walking up. Good evening. My name is Ann Haynes, and I'm a resident at 4 Gray Street, and I'm sorry I can't be with you in person. First, just checking to make sure people can hear me. Yes, and it looks like my head is very big on the monitor.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good.
I'm sorry,
Great.
I was turning off the air conditioning because I couldn't hear anything.
Thank you. And I've been a resident for about 3 years, and I do not have a complaint about Safe Harbor Marina, and in fact bought the house because I really liked being across from a marina. I did want to, got great information from this conversation and ultimately with my conversation with John Boone a couple of weeks ago, and appreciate the dialogue. My expertise is in real estate and capital projects for municipalities. So so I am also looking at these drawings from what's to come. And I recognize that this Conservation Commission's focus is really the stormwater drainage, so I'm very excited to hear that having a peer review of these plans, I think it's really important. And I did want to echo what others have said, is this is a real opportunity because it's such a major investment, and I appreciate the Safe Harbor Company looking at it that way. But it is public infrastructure at the perimeter of this property, and certainly something that we can all look at as an improvement to the overall neighborhood. And so I think as neighbors, we'll be obviously very interested and concerned with the types of aesthetic choices that are made in the final project, which we could talk about at a later time. But most importantly, the construction project is something I'm most concerned about. John put me at ease when he mentioned the timeline. It wouldn't start this summer. And obviously, summer season is when not only you're working very hard at the marina, but a lot of neighbors and residents are enjoying outdoor life in the area and certainly have a lot of guests, visitors, and renters. And so timing is critical to know when things are going to be happening, and specifically what kind of construction controls will be in the general conditions to make sure that the project, the construction project is, as noise mitigated as possible. Fumes, smells, other dangers or safety issues that need to be addressed need to be thought about now as you're planning your project. And I think an open communication with the neighborhood as best as possible is really important. And in my experience, that proactive communication with the neighborhood about next steps along the way helps on the back end in terms of delays or other types of issues that might come. So certainly want to be a resource to figure out how to make sure that open communication is happening with neighbors. But the construction process is something, the process itself, timeline, what's happening when, and specifically how to coordinate that, up to 6 months to a year in advance as people are making their plans to be in the area or immediate area during the construction process. But again, I think I sent a note to Christine today that I hope the commissioners would see. Some of the issues don't need to be addressed at this Conservation Commission, but likely will be a part of the discussion at the site plan review. So I look forward to continuing the conversation with Safe Harbor, and hopefully this will be a great improvement to the neighborhood.
Thank you. Anybody else? I believe we're going to do a continuance until 6/18 and see if we can get a peer review done by then.
So moved.
That would be amazing. I have a motion and I didn't hear a second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? 6/18. So let your neighbors know that we're continuing to 6/18. More than likely, if the peer review is not done, we'll continue again. And I would like to take a 10-minute break. We've been here for 2 hours, and I think please take us offline for 10 minutes, and we'll take a quick.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We're down to certification of compliance request.
Yes, for SE 761590, which recommend an issuance of a certificate of compliance.
So moved.
Second.
The motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 600, done. We're so close to the end, we probably could have gone to the end without a break. Duh.
That would
Yeah.
thank you.
And nobody here. Okay, and we're down to, all right, we could have continued.
Yep.
Sorry, someone could have said, Sandy, we're only got 2 minutes left.
Sandy, we only have 2 minutes left.
And I could have said, okay, then hold it. Review of minutes from April 16th, 2025. I looked at it and had no problem. Anybody else?
No.
Same thing.
I motion to approve the minutes from April 16th, 2025.
And I heard a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain. It's done. Okay, was that it? Before we continue, I have a question Who will not be here for the 16th? 18th? June 18th. I will not be here for the 18th, so that makes us Paula Jean, Michael,
I'll be here.
Kwame,
You'll have to find out about Scott.
Scott. So we may have an issue of not having a quorum if Scott's not here.
Yeah, send an email, just to make sure people are around.
Yeah. So the 18th could be an issue.
All right. Keep us in the loop.
Yeah. So I'll ask Scott if he is,
What happens in that case?
we don't have a, everything's continued until the next scheduled meeting.
So it's continued, we don't lose our jurisdiction or anything like that?
No, I don't think so. We just, every once in a while, we've had in the past an issue of not having a quorum, therefore having no meeting, and it just continued to the next scheduled timeframe.
Do we have to vote that we're going to do that? I mean, we don't have to come on the 18th and not have an
No,
vote to continue.
you don't have a quorum to make a,
We couldn't even do that,
you couldn't
right.
even do that, yes. Anything else?
No?
God, we didn't need that break. We could have just continued and be all done. Sorry, folks, I wasn't watching the end of the agenda. All right. Anything else? Christine, any comments?
No, nothing else to
General?
report on.
Do you need to fill a position?
We need to, well, we know we have 3 openings for associate members. And until we have an associate member, there's no one moving up to a voting member, because you can't be an associate then immediately, normally takes about 4 meetings or so, 4 to 5 meetings before you want to move up into a voting member. So we need to get people interested to say, come join us. If you care about the environment and the wetlands, come help us manage our resources. I went on the selectmen last night and made the same plea. We need 3 associates.
So we got to get out there and recruit, huh?
We got to get out there and recruit us, so if you know somebody who might be interested, have them fill out an application from the town select board website and see what happens. But Scott has been voted, the selectmen has approved his moving up to be a voting member, so we will be up to 6 members as opposed to 5. So, and Autumn's position will have to be filled once we have an associate on board for a period of time that we're comfortable with moving somebody up. So if you know of anybody who might be interested in giving up their first and third Wednesdays from 6 o'clock until after 8, please talk to them about joining us. Anything else? We have paperwork to sign, and we have cookies. No, we have cupcakes. I made cupcakes.
Awesome.
So, anybody would you like to, on your last day here, adjourn us?
I would love to. Before I adjourn, I do want to express to everybody on the commission what a joy these past 2.5 years have been for me. This has been
Wow.
the most dedicated, passionate, hardworking team of people, and I've just been taken under everybody's wings. I've learned so much from each and every one of you. So it's just been a pleasure protecting our land and our water and our air and our animals and trees. And public health, honestly, everything we do, it comes down to public health. We care so much about the public and our town, and it's a beautiful place to be, and these are beautiful people here, and we do have challenging work ahead of us, but it's so rewarding, and it comes from a good place, so.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for your
Nice.
time.
Nice job.
Appreciate it. Couldn't miss you.
I miss you guys already.
Okay, before we adjourn, we now have an opening for a clerk. And I would like to recommend Michael be appointed as our clerk going forward. Anybody, any other discussion?
So moved.
I have a motion to appoint Michael Mercier as our clerk,
Second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. So starting the next meeting, Michael will be our clerk. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right?
I motion to adjourn at 8:07 PM.
All right.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we're done. Thank you. Thank you. And we'll have our cupcakes.